Powell was also asked in particular about the government's response to the COVID crisis. And he talked about the CARES Act and said that, it saved us, that but for the CARES Act, who knows how horrific things would have been. He said that the government single-handedly replaced everybody's lost income and that it was an act of heroism, right? This was somehow heroic. Our elected officials basically handing out a bunch of free money was heroism. I mean, there is nothing heroic about that, about bribing the voters with other people's money, about giving people a bunch of free stuff, about telling people, hey, don't worry, you don't need a job. You're not going to lose any money here. The government's going to give you everything you need. In fact, we're actually going to make it more lucrative. We're going to give you more money unemployed than you used to earn when you had a job. What is heroic about that? That is the coward's way out. Our elected officials were too afraid to level with the public or do the right thing because they were scared to death that they wouldn't get reelected. So they acted like cowards and they passed the CARES Act. And that includes President Trump, who cowardly signed the CARES Act instead of doing the right thing. We should have prioritized government spending in a crisis. We should have made the necessary cuts to government spending. Look, if people aren't working, we can't replace their incomes because when they were working, they were actually productive. They were producing goods and services. But if they're not working and they're not being productive, we just can't print new money because there's nothing to buy. You have to produce before you can consume. So what we just did is we gave people a bunch of money to go on a global shopping spree and run up our trade deficits and buy the products that were produced in other countries, most particularly in China. That was not an act of heroism. It was an act of unprecedented cowardliness. And our leaders are cowards. They are not heroes. And that also applies to the Fed and to Chairman Powell.